Hey, how's it going? And welcome back. We've got another Sudoku here. This one is called Treasure Map by Biscuit. And let's get into those rules. Looks like there's a couple of them, but they look like they're more of your standard rules. So let's start looking at them. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, column, and 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Digits separated by an X must sum to 10, and digits separated by a V must sum to 5. All such pairs are given. That's good, and we should remember that one. So this is a V, so whatever these two digits are, they must equal to 5. Then we got an X over here. Those two digits have to equal 10. And there is the negative constraint. I'm going to try to put that in my head, because sometimes I forget about negative constraints, and it can come back and bite you in the bum. So we got digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in the circle at the base of the arrow. So let's say here, these two digits combined or added equal whatever that is. Same for the other ones. We've got adjacent digits along an orange line must have a difference of at least 4, which is normally called Dutch whispers. So it just means that this is a 6, let's say. This could be a 1 or a 2. It's different by at least 4. And then we have the blue line is separated by box borders into sections with equal sums, so equal sum lines. So these two digits, whatever they are, because they're in this one singular box, must be the same as whatever this is, because that's the only part of the blue line in this box. So those are the rules. Not too complicated, but as you know, we can always make things more complicated than they have to be. If you've seen any of my past videos, I hope you have and have enjoyed them. Anyway, enough plugging me. Let's get into this thing and see what we can do. So, the last, actually, well, I don't know if it'll be the last depending on when I actually publish them, but the last Sudoku I did was a 4x4 with V's, which was slightly less helpful in terms of the V's, because it was every single digit you could be on them. But in this case, the V's are much more important in terms of the breaking them down into less options here. So obviously a V has to equal 5. There's only 2 ways to make 5 in typical 9-cell Sudoku, which is 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. Is that going to help us too much right off the bat? I'm going to try to stay away from just instantly typing these all in, as I tend to do, but to try to make it a little more interesting on me, to try to figure this out without doing such things. So on this arrow, we've got a 5 already. So we know this has to at least be 6, because this has to at least be 1. So we can put that up to 6, 7, 8, or 9, and this has to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, because these are already 5. Well, we know that these are all of the same variety of 5. That's the best way to put it. So they're either 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, or 1, 4, 1, that sort of thing. You can't have 2, 3, and then the 1 or the 4, obviously. And then whatever this is opposite of whatever this one is. You can say the same for these two pairs. So whatever this one is the opposite version of it. Maybe we should go to region sum lines, which is ones, although they're probably not as nice as I usually would like them to be. What we know is that these 3 digits are actually the same digit, because every portion of the blue line has to equal the same amount, and there's only 1 digit in all of this. So let's mark that for now and see if that comes in any type of use. Well, it does quite quickly off the bat. So we've got, where can the magenta or purple, however you want to look at it, where can that go in this box? Well, if you're looking at just doing basic Sudoku, it can't go in any of those places. And it also can't now go on this portion of the blue line, because if it did, this digit up here would have to be 0 to be able to equal itself. So we end up getting another purple digit. That might be as far as we go with that one for right now. Looking elsewhere at the purples. I don't know that we can rule out. Oh, yes, we can actually. It's interesting. Oh, what I was just looking at is, can a purple digit be on a V? And the answer to that is going to be no. Not necessarily because this digit has to be something massively high, because it only has to have a minimum of 2 digits, but what we said previously was these digits, and we can just remove this one for now in this example. So this is either 2, 3, or 1, 4. Well, this is the other one, 2, 3, or 1, 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are already taken. This can't be 5, because you can't have 5 and another 5 on an X. So the purple digit has to at least be 6. So that said, you cannot put a purple digit on the V, because 6 is higher than 5. I know, shattering your world here with amazing feats of math's logic. So, with that said, none of those can be 6, because we see these ones all see a purple already, and these are on the 5. So one of these has to be a 6. Now, can this be a 6 is a question. It is a question, if you hadn't noticed. But I don't know that we can figure that out just yet. So let's take a little bit closer look on some of these other ones. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot from that, from my V not being purple here. We know it's not in any of those, but we know it's not any of those. It's not that one. So we do kind of get a 6 here. Actually, we can remove this 6. I'll do that in a second. So we know there has to be a 6. Wait, why did I just say it had to be a 6? Am I being dumb again? Hold on. This has to be purple, is what I was trying to say. Not that it had to be 6. 6 was in my head for some reason, because I was thinking it had to be at least 6. These are not purple. These are not purple. This has to be purple. So let's get off the crazy train there for a second. And I think we're gonna probably need to move on, because it doesn't look like those are going anywhere. Now, the next question I think I would have is where these Dutch whispers intersect some type of value that we know of. Now, can this be... Well, this is probably the most likely candidate for being the larger digit, the purple digit, that is. Although it's not a given. So let's type these in real quick. See, these are 6, 7, 8, or 9. They cannot be 9, okay? Because it's on, this one's on an arrow. It's hard to see, but it's on the arrow. So you can't obviously put a 9 on this arrow, because then what do you put here? And then subsequently, what do you put here? You're either going to have a 9 and a 9 with a 0 in the middle, or you're going to have a 9 and a 1 with a 10 or something like that. So that doesn't work. So there are not 9. At least we can rule those out. Can we do anything more on that? Now, this being an X clue, it does give us a little bit of a reduction of what these can be. They can be 2, 3, or 4. And then this is either 2, 3, or, well, no, 2, 3, or 1. Okay. Is there anything else on this line that I can use? So this has to be bigger than that. Is a fairly obvious statement, because we have this digit, whatever it is, 6, 7, or 8, is on this line. I understand that it's hard to see this line, but I'm going to keep talking about it as if it's very obvious, just because it's hidden behind a bunch of stuff. But so whatever this is, you have to add this to get this, i.e., it's a bigger digit. So this can only be, what, 1, 2, or 3. This can only be now 7, 8, or 9. We don't quite have quad here to rule something out with. But maybe we can look at these V's real quick. Let's say this is a 3-2V or 2-3V. That would force this to be a 1. It would force this to be 2-3, and this would be 1-4, so that works out perfectly fine. So there's nothing really stopping that. And the other way is if this was a 1-4, this would be a 2-3, this would be a 1-4, this would be 2 or 3. So there's nothing doing there. So what's the next line of thought? Maybe we can try to look at these not German whispers, Dutch whispers, to see if we get anything going along it. And maybe with this interaction of the V here, but the Dutch whispers are a little bit, there's more leeway on them than a German whispers. So this could technically be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now this could go back low, typically. If this was a 5, this could go down to a 1, but we already know these are not 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this has to be, well, let me rephrase that. These are 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of these. This cannot go down to a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this has to be a higher digit. So it has to be from 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Well, how do you make a Dutch whispers work on when you have 2 digits that have to be either high or low? And it's not entirely high or low, but the only way to do it is if you put a 5 in it. And let's talk that one through, I guess is the best way to put it. So we already know we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So this has to be 5, 6, 7, 8. This has to at least be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now the only way, like I said, to stay within it's not a parity, I can't think of the term that's used for it. I use parity for like a bunch of different things sometimes, but the only way to stay either high or low, in this case there's a medium in between them with the 5, is to have that medium. So let's say this was, an 8. What can you do here? Nothing. 7 and 6, nothing. The only things these can actually be are 9 and 5. Same here, because 5 and 9 are 4 apart from each other. So that reduces the possibilities of these. Now we know this has to go back down low. I guess we don't necessarily know if it's, like if this was a 5, we would know what this is. But if this is the 9, we do not know what this is. So what does that do for us? Well, I guess we know that this digit has to be 6, 7, or 8. Because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it can't be 5 or 9. So this is a high digit, but it doesn't have the ability to stay high or get back to a 5. So this has to, well, that did nothing on that side because I already knew that, just hadn't written it in. But up here, we do know that this can only be from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we know this digit is going to be semi-high, I guess is the best way to put it, from 5 or above. Now if that is 5, these two would have to equal 5, and these two would have to equal 5, which I don't think you can do that, can you? So let's just that out in theory. What if this is 5, and these have to equal 5 in some way? We know the only ways to make 5 are 3, 2, and 1, 4. So what if they are one of those things? Let's say it was 2, 3. It could be 1, 4. I'm just going with 2, 3 at the moment. Then what the heck is this? If this is 2 or 3, this has to be 2 or 3. So now you got 3 of the same digit. Well, 3 of the same set of digit within the same set. I'll get there eventually with my English language. It's a work in progress. Same thing goes for 1, 4. So there's no way this can be a 5, is what I'm trying to say. So this is a higher digit. And I can't rule it out not being the 9 yet, because I don't know that this is of the purple variety. Because it could very well be a 6 here with a 1, 2, or 3 here to equal whatever this is. Now, we could still have a 5 on here as well. So I can't rule that out. Once again, it could be 5 with a 1, 2, 3, or 4. Am I saying that this, yeah, this digit always is low because it has to be low on the 1, 2, 3, on the 5 clue. But that doesn't quite get me to a quad. And I'm not quite to a quad here either. So let's just write these in. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, but we've got one other 1, 2, 3 somewhere out in this world. And this has to be either mid 6, 7, 8, or 9. And I can't quite do a quintuple there. Okay, so we already knew that these were opposite to this, but I don't know which one is which just yet. I know this is 6, 7, 8, but that doesn't help me. This could be anything because that's 5, 9. Now this one could still be anything because it has to go from a high down to a low digit. This one could be 5 and it could be low. That doesn't, well, this one can't be low. There we go. Okay. That's the next step. So we know this is on a Dutch Whispers. So it's either 6, 7, 8, or 9. And it's a high on the Dutch Whispers. Now, like I said before, the only way to stay in from a high and still be up above a low would be to go to 5. So if this was, it would have to then be a 9 and a 5, like that. Now, if this was a low, or an 8, 7, or a 6, this digit has to be less than 5. Now, does that work? And the answer is no, because we've just used 1, 2, 3, and 4 on all of these. So this cannot be low. It can't be high, because we're already high, so it has to be medium, so it has to be the 5. Which means that gives us the 9 and the 5, which is going to give us the 1 and the 4, and this is going to start to open up. So that's a 2, 3 pair, which means this is the 1. This is not 1, 4. This is not a 5. So now, obviously, this can't be 9, and now it can't be 8. This can't be 6 or 7. What else do we got? This is still 6, 7, 8. We haven't ruled any of that out yet. I mean, we could write these in. I'm not sure that's going to help too much, but they are 6, 7, and 8 as well. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, what's the next thing? Well, we've got a 1 on this region sum line. So whatever this is 1 less than whatever this is. Now we know this can't be a 5 because we've got a 5 here. We know it can't be a 9. We know it can't be an 8. So it's either a 6 or a 7. We know this is not a 6 because we couldn't put the 5 here. So these are not 6s. So we're getting this purple digit down to a 7 or an 8. This can't be a 7 anymore because 7 plus 1 is 8 at the least. Okay, we've got a 6, 7 pair. We got a 2 pair, 3 pair. We need a 4 somewhere up in here. What else do we need up there? It's 4 with either an 8 or a 9. We cannot discern that just yet. Well, here we've got that 5 clue, so that has to be 2, 3. If that's 2, 3, and this has to get at least to 7, this could be 4, 5, or 6. That's not too useful, is it? I don't think I can quite figure out what these are just yet. This can't be a 1. Because these, what I was looking at, all I know is these are not 4s. So one of them could be a 1, or it could be a 4 over here, which would put a 1 over here. They could both be 2 3s and just be an opposite, like 2 2 and 3 3. Like, well, no, they can't do that, actually, now that I look at it, because we have a 2 3 here. So if these were both the same, 2 and 3, there would be nothing to put here, because, like I said, you'd have 2 2, something like that, and you'd have 3 3. So now you had 2 and 3 here looking at this. So one of these is a 1 4, and one of them is a 2 3, because we can't do 2 1 4s, because you would have the 4 has to be over here. This would then be a 1, but then you'd have to put a 1 and a 4, and you've got a 4 already here. So we've got a 1 4 and a 2 3. I do not know which one is which, but we know they exist. Is that helpful? Which is the burning question I ask many, many times in Sudoku Solves. I'm sure it is at some point, but I'm not quite seeing it just yet. Now, okay, here's something we see. Where does the 6 go in this box? Well, it can't go in any of these, so it's got to be one of these two, and it's pointing right there, so that's 7. Excuse me, that's 6. So now we know what these all are. These are all 7s, which means that is the purple. I can get rid of that notation. I don't know that the 7's really doing much for me anymore, or the purple color is doing anything, but I'm going to leave it up there because it looks nice. This is not 7. This is 6 or 8. If that's 6 and 8, this then has to be 9. This has to be 2 and 3. That is no longer 2. 9 to 5 here, that still works. Can this ever be a 6? And the answer is no, because this is a 4, so this is 8. Let's get on the right tab first. 8 and 6. And so these are all low digits, every single one of those. That's interesting. So we know one of these is a 3, because we now have a 3 here, and we know we had to have a 2 3. We know one of these is a 4. I'm going to mark this like this, even though I normally would not, just so that it's up there in my brain. Or when it falls out of my brain, I can look and see what it is. Of course, that could always get me into trouble if I don't remember that I did that. So. I need a 5 in this row. Can't be over here, so it's got to be over here somewhere. Can't be, well, it can be here because of that 1. Can I do anything else with these others? No, because that could still be 3 or 4. That's not quite worked out. This is either 5, 6, 7, or 8, and it can't be 6, 7, or 8. So this actually, well, that's not true because this could be 9. Sorry, this is either 5 or 9. I was about to make a statement that was not true. So these are also all low digits to go with the 5 and the 9. There's no 9 down here, so there has to be a 9 down here. There has to be a 1 up here. I don't think any of these things that I'm saying is really helping me right now, but can we do anything here? Yes, we can. This cannot be 6. So I've got to make 7. So it's either 4, 3, or 5, 2. That doesn't do anything. This column has some things in it, but nothing really to differentiate just yet. Now I know we have to have a 7 over here. I know this isn't 7 because it's not purpleized. And it also sees that 7, so there's a 7 over there somewhere. So can this be a 6? Yes, it can, because that could be a 2. Almost had something there. This could also be an 8 and get just about anything on the board. Now, if this was a 6, this would have to be the 2, and this would have to be a 1 or a 2. Next in line, anyone want to step up here? 3 and 4, like I said, both work there. We've got that. Well, we've got right here. Once again, because this is hidden back in here, it moved out of my memory for a second. This is 7 plus 1 to equal 8. And that 9 was right there to show it anyway, but what else do we have? This can't be 7, so this can't be 2. The 8 has to be down in here somewhere, which means it has to be in here somewhere. This has to be a 4-8 pair, and we've got an 8 here. So this is 4 and 8. So that is not 4, which means this is a 4-5-9. Triple. Which means this is the 1-2-3 triple. I was going to say, is it possible for these to both be low? And the answer is still yes. This one can't, because that's a 1. This cannot be a 4. I already had that if I typed over it. This is 5 or 9. This could be almost anything. So once again, these have to equal 7. I can't figure that just yet. All right, where are we? Where's the next move? Let's make sure I'm not forgetting anything obvious. There, I did forget something obvious, and I don't know if it's going to help me at this moment, but all such XV pairs are given. So it does help me, thank you. That was probably, you guys were probably yelling at the screen for me to look at that, but I didn't get into a little snag until now, so now I can use it. Can this ever be a 3? No, because there would have to be an X between the two, because that would equal 10. So this has to be the 4, which forces the 4 down here, which means that's the 1, that's the 3, that's the 2. Can I do anything else while I'm thinking about it? Well, this 7 gives me the 3. These are both 2s. So those are obvious clues that I passed up while I was looking elsewhere. There's just a jumble of stuff going on in the middle here. This is now a 2, so this has to be the 5 to equal 7. There's that. I'm wondering if there's any Sudoku I can do here, because this 2 doesn't give me anything for here. This could still be 6 or 8. Same with the 1, that doesn't do anything for me there. Yeah, doesn't rule anything out there. Okay, let's look at some Sudoku maybe. We need a 1 up there. Is there anywhere else that a 1 can't go? Not really. 2s maybe? Yes, here we go. This has to be a 2 because we've got 2, 2 here. 2. 2s, no 2s, no 2s. One of these is a 2. What are these 2 digits? They are 6 and 9. Okay. Can we do anything with this column as well? We need the 1. We know it's up there. We need a 5 and a 7. So this has to be the 1-7 pair. This has to be the 5. So now we know there has to be a 5 over here. Because of these 2 5s. So let's get rid of that designation. We know what these are in general. They are 5 and 8. So let's put those in for now. We know what these are. They are 3, 6, and 9. Did I get that right? Yeah, looks like. Not helpful at all. Well, yes, it is slightly helpful, because this cannot be a 9, because it'd have to be an X marker between them. Let's go back to looking at our X's, because I forgot about those previously, and I don't want to forget about them again. This can't be a 6 because of that. Is there anywhere we've got some... No, I'm not seeing any other negative constraints on that one at the moment. Okay. Let's look back to looking at our... Well, here's... No, that doesn't do anything. I thought it did. I miscounted. So I'm not going to even mention the name. Neither of these can be 3, so that's something. So we've got 3 here and here. So that rules out all of these. We can't put a 3 here. Well, we can't put a 3 here. because one of these would have to be the 7. It can't be. It didn't take me quite as far as I thought, because I thought I could get rid of both of them, but I could put a 3 here, and this could still be a 7. So we got a 3 in one of those, not as helpful as I hoped it would be. One of these is a 5, that's not too helpful. Is there anything in here that might work? No. But I can use a negative constraint on, I can't. Okay, let's move forward with Sudoku. Fours. I'm not seeing much of anything there. Oh, the 5s. One of those is 5, it's not really good. These, yeah, 6s, I don't think so. Yeah, not really. 7s. There's not too much doing. I mean, we know that none of those are 7s, but what does that really do? 8s. Oh, the 8s are down there already, so that's not helpful. And then 9s would be the last ones to take a gander at, and that did not work either. So let's go back and look at our clues again, just to make sure we've used them all up. So we've used our region sum line completely. We've used most of our V's and X's, except for this one and the negative constraint. We've used most of our arrow cells. This one we have not figured out quite yet. So what is the next place to look? I mean, I can't put a 3 there, but that still doesn't help. Well, I can't put a 3 here either, because I wasn't looking at this one as being a 2 to the 5. It can't be a 3 here. So there has to be a 3 in one of these two, and it can't be here. Okay, so this is a 3. So it was the negative constraints once again. That's not a 3. And we now know we can't have 3 in any of those. We can't have a 3 there because of that one. And we said previously this can't be a 3. So this is the 3, which means this can't be a 7. So that is the 7. Does it do anything more for us on the 3 front? Any of these could be 3. So not really. Maybe we need to do a little deeper dive into where our negative constraints may lie. Now, 1 is one of those two. Nothing really special there. Like I said, we know one of these is a 2, so this can't be an 8. I think that's what we should have determined before. So these are a 2-8 pair. And these are 3, 6, and 9. Well, the only place a 3 can go on this line now is right here. So that's 3, that's 6, that's 9. Which is good. This has to be 6 or 9. And it can't be 9, so you are 6, you are 9. Now we know that these are 5. This has to be the 4 to equal 9. This 9 is out of here. Where else can we go? What's left on, like, let's say this column? We need a 4. Can't go there. Can't go any of those places, but it could go either one of those. We need the 8. It could go there or there. Oh, that's actually just gives me something. So the 4 and the 8 have to go on this column somewhere. Well, neither one of them can go here because of the 4 and the 8, so these have to be the 4-8 pair. And is there anything telling me it can't be either? No, which means this one has to be the 9. So that's all that's left in this column. So there's that. These 3 digits, we need a 1 in here somewhere. And it could go anywhere. We need the 4. Like I said, the 4 is in one of these. This is a 4-8 pair. Because it can't go up in here. We've got a 4 here. So this is the differentiator, 8 and 4. And this one then has to be the 1. So this then has to be the 5 and the 3. Is that correct? Yes, it is. 3 and 5. Let's get rid of that, which means these have to be 1 and 6. This cannot be 1, so this is 6 and 1. Little typo there, but that's fine. I caught it. This is not 1. Do we have any negative constraints doing anything else in here? No, we do not. This 2 still doesn't figure this one. I'm trying to look at negative constraints because I've missed a few of them before, and I want to make sure I don't continue to do so. Okay. So are we getting ourselves into more obvious Sudoku land, or are we still going to have to kind of deduce? So one of these has to be a 2. We know one of those is a 2. We know one of those is a 2. See, there's nothing still removing this from being either 1, 4 or 2, 3. Where we go to the 3s next, right? We didn't do those, right? Nothing there of real use. The 4, nothing really that I see. Oh wait, this 4 gives us that 8. I just didn't see that over there, so it gives us the 5 and the 8, and then it gives us the 2 because we can't put a 2 next to an 8. Okay, so that's something. Now these 2 digits have to be from 4 and 5. So this is 5 and this is 4. And these 3 digits are what? 1, 6, and 9. Nothing ruling out any of those other ones. Well, that's not entirely true. This can't be 9 because you'd have to have a 1 on either side of it. This can't be 6 because you're looking at a 4 next to it. None of those other ones seem to do anything. Okay. I feel like we should be getting pretty close to being able to determine this guy, but not quite yet. And we know there's no 4 in any of those, so one of these has to be a 4. If this was the 4, this would be a 1. So I don't see any issue with that. Yeah, just looking around real quick before possibly getting back into the basic Sudokus. So none of these are 5s. That can't be a 5. Yeah. It's not all that useful. No 6s. Can we do anything with any of this stuff? 3s. No. Well, this isn't 6. Nothing spectacular there. How about 7? Can we break anything open on those things? Not really. I mean, we know none of these are 7s, so there has to be a 7 in here. Now that 7 does point to this 7, which means this is the 7. So let's get rid of coloring on that one just to get it going. And let's just put this one in here because it wants to be part of the group. Okay, so we got 7 and a 7. How about 8s? 8s look like, well, we can still stick with a 7 a little, but this can't be 3. So this digit, well, that doesn't help either, because this digit just has to be 4 away from both 6 and 8. 1 and 2 both satisfy that. And I could have used that same logic to get rid of that 3, but... So what was I on? 7s, right? Yeah, okay. How about 8s? Don't see anything right off the bat on that one, so 9s. Again, really nothing too much use there. Okay. So I must be missing a negative constraint somewhere. Let me just make sure all my other clues have been done. Pretty much, except for this guy here. I'm just going to type these in case I'm just not seeing something that's really obvious. This can never be 1. So I've got a 3, 4, 5 here and a 1, 2 pair. So that did show me something. And it wouldn't be something that I would have seen unless I had typed those all in. So this has to be an 8. And I could have seen that if I just thought about where would an 8 go here. But you know me. So that's something. It wasn't incredible, but it was something. That doesn't give me anything on a 2, does it? This can't be a 2. So there's a 2 in one of these guys. I don't know if that really does much. There might be something in there that I'm not seeing. What else is there then? And these are 1, 6, or 9, right? 1, 6, 9 because of the row. This can't be 1. These could still be anything. So that didn't do me any real good. F6, no. Oh wait, here we go. Sorry, I did just see this now. This has to be a 1 because it can't be a 2. Type the right digit in. Okay, now that does finalize this V. So this now no longer can be 1, 4, so it has to be 2, 3. Get rid of the 2 there. That makes this have to be a 4 because that was the only place a 4 could go anymore. This has to be 7. This has to be 5. And this is going to break it wide open. 1 and 7. That's 9. That is 6 and 9. This is not 9. 9 is over there. So what is this? Has to be 1 or 6. Is there anything that... Oh, wait. Let's just keep on with the negative constraints. This has to be 6 because it can't be 1. So that's that. This is now a 1. This can't be a 1 or a 9. For, I hope, at this point, obvious reasons. So that's 6 and 9. That's 8. That's 6. That 8 gives me 2 and 8. This can't be a 4 because it's next to the 6. So this has to be that 4. Let's get rid of that. Or the 8s and the 9s aren't doing anything here. These are all done. 1 doesn't do anything with anything. Now, is this just a Sudoku that I'm not seeing it right off the bat? 1s are done. 2s are... Yeah, there it is. 2. Okay, I just didn't see that 2 down there. So that's 3 and 2. That 3 up there gives me 5 and 3. And that 5 gives me 9 and 5. And there we go. You solved the puzzle. 43 minutes. Probably took me a little bit longer than it should have, just because I trying to track down negative constraints and I didn't see them right off. I wasn't using them right off the bat. But it was very negative constraint heavy towards the end there to try to finalize everything. But I thought it was an excellent Sudoku. Treasure map by Biscuit. All the rules worked well together, and you had to obviously use all of them to get the solve. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed that solve, and I will be back in not too long with some more for y'all. So thanks. Hope to see you then.